Hello YouTube, this is Brian Tubbs coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be just talking about mill scale removal. And mill scale is the, let me show you here. It's kind of this dark gray film that's on mild steel. It comes on Cor-Ten steel. It's just a part of the milling process. Get a little bit closer so you guys can see. It's kind of a gray, almost blackish gray. It depends on the manufacturing process. Some of it comes out almost black, but it's really difficult getting it off if you don't know how to get it off. And the thing with mill scale is if you're just making a piece, you know, for your yard or something like that, or someone else's yard, you're not charging that much money, you can just kind of rough it up a little bit and paint over it or something like that, or you can just leave the mill scale on and put like a rusting process on it, and you know it'll work out okay. Now, some of our sculptures, when we use Cor-Ten and it has a mill scale on it, and I'm going to use, you know, the chemical that we use, well, not the chemical, but it's hydrogen peroxide, the table salt, white vinegar. If I spray that on there, leaving the mill scale on there is not bad. I can either take the mill scale off, or I can leave it on because it's gonna rust the same. But if I take the mill scale off, it'll rust, or the patina will come out faster than with the mill scale on. But if you're going to use, like, say you're doing a sculpture, whether outdoor or indoor sculpture, and you're going to be using like patinas, like Sculpt Nouveau's, they sell different types of patinas and stains and stuff like that. You need to get the mill scale off, because the patina and stain will not work very well with the mill scale. And then the other thing is, if you're going to clear coat your piece, it's best to get all the mill scale off as possible, as much as you can. So for example, I'll just grab a piece of metal. This metal is the same metal that you just saw. These two pieces are the same. One just has the mill scale on it, which is this one, and this one has, of course, the mill scale off. And if you ever walk into a metal store and you see this, you might think it's stainless steel because it's shining like that. And I'll show you. But as I told you guys before in another video I shot, why is this stainless steel magnetic? Always take a magnet with you, or ask the guys at the store if they have a magnet that you can use. It looks like stainless steel, but it's not. It's just mild steel with the mill scale removed. It's hard to look at them and tell the difference between stainless steel and this mild steel. All right, just want to show you guys something. So just as an example, this is mild steel, this is stainless steel. If you put them together, they don't look much different. The stainless steel has still just a slight bit of frost on it. I would have to take my drum surfacing disc and just knock a little frost off, but you can still see they are pretty close. Might be able to see a little bit better like that. It's hard to tell the difference between stainless steel and mild steel once that mill scale is removed. And so what I'm going to be talking about today is different ways to remove that mill scale from mild steel. And just to kind of step back a little bit, the reason I have all these pieces here, let me move this table over. The reason I have all these pieces here is I'm making a piece. My wife and I were making this piece together. It's just something different. She came up, she asked AI to come up with an outdoor or indoor sculpture just to see what the heck it would do. And this is what AI came up with. Hopefully you guys can see this. But that's what AI came up with. And if you notice, like in certain sections, like in this area here, when AI makes things, it makes things that are almost impossible to make. But it doesn't know that. AI, people think AI is the smartest thing on the planet, but it's not. There's certain things on here that I can make happen, but it's difficult to make certain things happen, so we're going to change it up a little bit. And I've asked AI to make other pieces. Just throwing out ideas. I had the spare time, I asked it to make pieces, but the majority of pieces that AI makes is almost humanly impossible to make them, just the way it has, things shaped and whatnot. So I'm learning how to communicate with AI better, because the more you communicate with it, the more it will understand what you actually want it to do. But when it comes to like making sculptures, you ask it to make something, I mean, it's stuff that's just so out there that it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's almost impossible to make it, because it doesn't understand that things have to, if you're going to make a sculpture, at some point in that sculpture it has to touch. The pieces have to touch so you can weld those pieces together. Whether it's coming up from the floor or going up, 10 feet, 20 feet tall, everything has to touch at some point. And some sculptures, AI have it where their pieces are kind of just floating, where they're not touching anywhere. Or if they're touching, it's so complicated that it's almost impossible to do. But that's what, let me just show you. Like this piece right here. If you can see it. This frontal piece right here, what has this indent in here, is let me come a little closer so you guys can see. So the piece that I just showed you is this section right in here. So it comes off this base. We're gonna make the base. This piece comes up from that base. It goes up, it jogs back, goes up, jogs out, and goes up. That's what this piece is. I have this arm dropping down. I have that made. There's another piece on the back side here coming up vertical. That's made. I have this square top that goes on it. I haven't finished it, but I have most of that going. The piece in here, we're going to change this area in here. I've made that piece, welded it up and everything. So that's what all this stuff is that you see back here against my against this table. It's just amazing what my wife and my son come up with as far as ideas, for sculptures. It's like every time they come to me with a sculpture, it's not easy to make it. It's difficult. You got to really kind of think your way through it. So that's what all this stuff back here is. Now, let's talk about how to remove mill scale safely. There's you can use muriatic acid to remove it. There's stripping tools like the drum tool that I use. You can use that to do it. And then I'm gonna show you guys some discs that you can use on your angle grinder to get it off as well. But now going back to muriatic acid. If I'm making, when I used to do it, I still use it every now and then, but if I use muriatic acid, it's going to be on an indoor piece that's going to be painted. I don't use muriatic acid to take the mill scale off if I'm going to use the piece outdoors. Now, so in this tub is muriatic acid. It's not much in here because it's been sitting outside for, gosh, probably over a year now. But what I would do when I was making like indoor pieces or small pieces, I still might use it every now and then. If I'm making little small, mild steel pieces, I can still use this. This is what I call a bath. I would just pour some in there, take the pieces, lay them in there, put the lid on, so this stuff is not going everywhere. The odor is it's absolutely terrible. It'll burn your nostrils. It messes you up. And if you ever use this, have a muriatic acid bath, use a respirator, use eye protection and a face shield with a respirator underneath for your breathing. And I'm not talking about like a little mask like we used to wear when COVID was going on, but I'm talking about a respirator with filters on it. Gloves, protective clothing. I mean, everything that you can do to protect yourself, because that's acid. So I don't recommend you guys using muriatic acid. I rarely use it anymore. And this is a spray bottle that I use. That I used to use. I don't use it much anymore. But this is muriatic acid. It's just kind of a yellow liquid. And I use this stuff for cleaning swimming pools. And there are other uses for it, but for cleaning swimming pools and whatnot. If you use it, I'm saying don't, but if you do, when you spray it, use your respirator, face shield, eyeglasses, acid protective gloves, long pant, shoes, no flip-flops, anything like that. You don't want this stuff on your skin. This is acid, and it will just start eating away at your skin. The other thing about muriatic acid, never use it in your shop. Always take it outside of your shop. Because whatever this stuff is, it's going to cause rust everywhere. When I first started using it, I wasn't thinking. I had some metal on this side of the shop. I had the door open, and I was using muriatic acid outside in a bucket. I was dipping parts into a bucket at the time. I didn't have this closed container, but whether it's a closed container or not, don't have it in your shop. As soon as I finish talking about it, I'm gonna get this thing out of here. But I had it outside of the door, and the fumes from it was coming into the shop area here. I wasn't thinking. Closed the door, came out the next morning, and all the metal parts in that corner were rusted. And this wasn't Cor-Ten, this was just mild steel. Everything was rusted. I had rust everywhere. I know another guy, he was making these big wings, really big set of wings, like birds' wings, out of mild steel, and he was going to clear coat them and everything after he got them done. I mean, these things were huge, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 feet wingspan. I mean, they were huge. He used a muriatic acid to clean each individual piece before he tack welded them together. But he forgot to close the muriatic acid container and left the thing open in his shop. These wings were supposed to be this really bright, shiny, metal, clear coated over, and I'm not sure what else he's going to do, in the middle section. He came out the next morning. They were completely rusted, just like a piece of, just rusted steel. And it happened in a matter of just overnight because all the doors were closed, and these fumes were just going all over the place. So his wings were rusted. All of his metal in the shop was completely rusted. So my recommendation to you is when you use this stuff, use it outside of your shop or your garage or wherever you are. And when you get finished with it, leave it outside. Don't bring it into your garage because it's still going to be off-gassing and giving fumes. And that stuff is going to go everywhere, the fumes, and they're going to rust everything in your shop. So I'm going to just take a quick pause here and get this stuff out of my shop. All right, guys, I'm back. Like I said, I just had to get that out of here because I didn't want to mess around and forget and leave that stuff in here. You come back out here tomorrow and everything in here is rusted. So, but that's one way to remove mill scale. And with that, let's go back to the muriatic acid. Whenever you're using it on your metal, if you have a tub like I did and you let it sit in there for 20, 30 minutes or whatever length of time it takes, when it sits in your tub or you spray it, you'll see this mill scale start kind of lifting off. It could take 10 minutes, could take 20 minutes, could take 30 minutes, just depends. You'll see it start kind of lifting off. And what you can do then is just take a rag or some water. If you use it like a garden hose, you just spray it, but you got to dry it quickly or it'll start just rusting right away. But what I would do is I would put it in the bath or spray it on. Once it started lifting off, I would get a rag and just start wiping it off, and you'll take it down to the shinier metal. What you do after that is immediately you put it in some water or get a garden hose and spray some water on it, just kind of rinse some of that, the muriatic acid, the remainder off of it. And then you get baking soda. And if you have a tub like I have, you just put clean water in it and just sprinkle baking soda in there. What the baking soda will do is neutralize that acid so that it will stop, eating into taking the mill scale. It won't allow it to eat into the metal because the acid is being neutralized. But if you don't neutralize it with baking soda or something like that, that muriatic acid will still be there and it'll just continue eating away at the metal. So if you use muriatic acid, use baking soda as a neutralizer to stop it from doing its thing. And then after you put it in baking soda and water, you take it out, rinse it off, and then dry it off as fast as you can. And then take it out of the elements from outside, bring it to your shop because all the muriatic acid is gone, it's off of it. You can safely bring it back into your shop so it won't be out in the elements and rust. So that's the acid. Now, next we have the surfacing conditioner 2. This is a 40 grit drum disc. In the last video, when I was showing you guys the stuff that I use in here, you know, the welders and all that kind of stuff, I was showing you guys this thing. You can take this, and especially if it's like tubing, you can take it with a 40 grit on it, the 40 grit drum, and just go back and forth, and the mill scale will slowly start coming off. But everyone does not have one of these. I got this one from Harbor Freight. I think it was last year. This is a Bauer. I'm not sure if they still sell Bauers. They sell Hercules. It's a blue one. It's the same thing, but it's blue. Probably 140, 150 bucks, something like that. But everyone don't want to spend that kind of money on something like this. So I'll show you what's more affordable. So with the drum sander or the surface conditioning tool, it's good like I say on tubes, stuff like that, because the mill scale on here is not as difficult to come off as it is on a flat surface like a piece of sheet metal or plate. For whatever reason, on tubes, the mill scale comes off a lot easier. So if you're going to use a drum sander, like I just showed you, it's really good on tubes, but when it gets on flat surfaces, it takes a lot more work to get the mill scale to come off. So I'm going to show you guys a little tool and something else that's a lot more affordable than that. Now I'll get up kind of close so you guys can see. This is the same pad that's on that drum sander, but it's for a angle grinder. You can just put it on your angle grinder, and I'll show you guys how I use it. And this comes, I get this from Menards. I'm sure there's other stores that carry this, but this might be Menards brand's Performax 4.5 inch paint and rust remover. It comes 2 in a pack, but this is the one that I've been using. It's like down to like a pancake size now. But it was 2 in a pack, and all the pipes that you see back here that are shiny, I did all that with this disc for the most part. I don't think I used my drum surfacing sander at all on this. I think it was just this one pad. So now I'm going to have to use this pad to do the rest of the tubes and whatnot for making this the project that we're making. But this is a 2-pack. I get it from Menards, and it's like $17.90 some cents. So this is $18. $18 as compared to $150. Plus those rotary, those drums for the 40 grit is I think $30 for that one drum. So with this from Menards, $18, and these things work really, really well. And I'll show you guys how I use it. But one thing that I learned from using these, if you lay it flat on the metal, it'll get the mill scale off, but not as fast as if you put it on a slight angle, where those front edges are digging in to the mill scale. I mean, flat, like I said, is okay. But when you put on a slight angle, it digs in faster. And that's why this thing looked like it does. It has that angled taper. Most of it is gone, but that's why it looks like that, because I put it on a drastic angle to really cut into that mill scale. But again, this is the 4-pack, and like I said, about 18 bucks at Menards. So I'm gonna show you guys how I use it. And just a quick note: when you use this disc on your angle grinder, wear face protection. I use a full face shield for everything I do. You can wear, safety glasses, but make sure they fit tight underneath your eye, all around your eyes, because this stuff can break off and they fly. When they hit you, you feel it. I mean, it comes at you pretty hard because that's a lot of RPM. So I use my my glasses and a safety shield. And when I have the safety shield on, I don't have it just out here with this big gap under here. I have it right to my chest as much as I can, touching my chest as much as I can, so those pieces don't fly under here and get up into my eyes. You gotta protect your eyes. So with that, I put it on the angle grinder. And if someone doesn't know what an angle grinder is, it's this thing right here. You can get them. This is a DeWalt. Milwaukee makes them. Makita, a lot of different places make them, but this is just a 4.5-inch angle grinder. And when I'm using it, I'm going to bring the camera in closer so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You won't see me, but you'll see what I'm doing, which is most important. All right, guys, so this is a piece of Core 10. It's a circle I cut out from another piece that I was making. I don't remember exactly what piece I was making, but this is an inner circle that I cut out of another piece. So I'm just using this just as an example. So what I'm gonna do first is just clean a little bit of the mill skull off. I'm not gonna do the whole thing or anything. I'm just gonna clean some of the mill skull off with that angle grinder disc, just to let you kind of see how this thing, how it works. And right now it has the mill scale on it. All right, here we go. Okay, and I don't know if you could see it or not. I was laying it almost flat on this piece. Because like I said, on tubing, the mill scale has a tendency to come off a lot easier than it does on like flat sheet or plate. So I was able to lay it almost flat and the mill scale was coming off. I'll let you guys get a close-up shot of it. So as you can see, on this part, the mill scale is gone. On this part, the mill scale is still there. But that's how easily that disc can remove mill scale from tubing. This tubing is, I think it's 2x4. It was about an eighth wall. Maybe a 3/32 or to an eighth wall. Not really heavy, but that's how easily that disc removes mill scale from tubing. Now the drum sander I use will do it like this as well, but it might take a little bit longer because the surface is a little bit more flat, and I'm having to roll that big drum. But with that, I can just put it on there and just kind of dig right in. But now, let me show you something else. And when you're doing this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys can see this. All right, this is mill scale on here. This is flat, I think this is 11 gauge. And there's two pieces kind of stuck together because when I cut my circles out, like I told you guys before, I will lay both pieces together and cut my circles out at the same time, because if not, you'll cut one circle out, you'll cut the other circle out, and they won't always match up. Even if I'm using my circle cutter, they won't always match up. So I just cut them out together. But I'm going to use the pad and start taking some of the mill skull off. And I'm going to show you there's a difference. Now, if you guys noticed, on this side, I laid my pad flat, more flat. On this side, I put it more on an angle. And if you can see, on the side of the lathe, it flat, it looks like the mill scale is off because it's kind of shiny-ish. But if you look, you see like little shiny spots in there. The mill scale didn't come off for the most part. It just came off in little spots. But if you don't know how to do this, you will think the mill scale is off because it's kind of shiny, but it's not. There are little shiny spots in there. But over here, the mill scale is gone. There's no mill scale left on there. But you can see little shiny areas around here, little spots on like kind of around the perimeter. But what I did was I took the disc and put it on the edge, the front edge, and it cut through the mill scale a lot faster than laying it flat. If I was using the surface conditioning tool or the drum sander, it would be more like this, because it takes a lot more pressure and effort with the drum sander to get to this point. So oftentimes I don't like to do a lot of plate work with as far as getting mill scale off, because it takes so long. If I was doing a 2x2 plate, it could take me an hour and a half to get all the mill scale off, even with this disc. So it's better if you're going to do some big sculpture or whatever you're doing. It's best to get either a sand blast or a bead blaster, or take it to someone that can do it to get it off a lot faster. I don't recommend using the muriatic acid. You can if you want to, but I just want you guys to see that it looks like the mill scale is off because it's kind of shiny. You can see it's dull here, shiny here, but the mill scale is still not completely off there. But over here, the mill scale is pretty much gone. All right, guys, so again, I mean, there's many other ways of doing it, but that's pretty much how we do it here. And if you're going to buy these discs, I would just, if you can go to Menards, if you have a store locally you can go to, I would go there. If not, go online, order them. Amazon, I'm sure they have discs like this, but I just use this one. But let me give you the name of it again. They're called paint and rust removing discs, and these are extra coarse, which is about 40 grit. They call it extra coarse. These are Performax, and they're 4.5 inch grinding discs. So if you go on Amazon and they don't have this particular brand, just look for extra coarse paint and rust removing disc, and they look like, make sure it looks like this. It has a bunch of like holes in it, and those are there to keep this from loading up. If you're taking paint off or rust or mill scale and you're just using a regular flap or flat disc with sandpaper on it, those oftentimes have a tendency to load up. But these with all the holes in it, it's more difficult for these to load up, and that's why they continue cutting. And when I first heard about these discs, I saw it on somewhere, on some website some years ago, but they were using 3M's disc like this. 3M makes a disc that's basically the same thing, probably made from the same manufacturer, but they have, you know, the 3M logo on it. It comes in this fancy box. It was about $20 for one, and I'm sure the price is up now. And that's for one. It didn't last any longer than this one. I think this one cut better than that 3M one. And like I said, you go to Menards, you get two for less money than you would get one 3M, because of that 3M name. That name that's their brand. Everybody knows 3M. So that's how I remove mill scale, guys. And the thing to really remember is when you're looking at it, it looks like the mill scale is gone. But if you don't see shiny metal, put your head at a different angle if you need to, just to see if you see shiny metal and not like speckled metal where you see some dark gray, black, and then some silver shining coming through. You want all that gone. Well, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I think it's a very important video, you know, to get out there so people understand how to remove that mill scale. And again, if you can, stay away from muriatic acid. And if you're going to use it, make sure you don't store it in your workshop. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I'm trying to remember if I missed anything. I think that's it. So if I missed something, I'll mention it on the next video or something. But that's going to do it for this one. And as usual, peace out.